Yo, what's up guys? 4-Star Mon back with another video, and today we're going to talk about what my predictions are for what's going to be announced for Pokemon Day 2024. I know, shocker, face reveal already. I mean, if you watched the live streams, you probably would have already knew what I looked like, but in any actual video format, this is what I look like. I'm sure nobody predicted that I was a black man. I should probably cut that out. Anyways, we have a lot of stuff going on for Pokemon in this upcoming month. And usually the whole month of February is a celebration for Pokemon. They almost always have some crazy thing going on, a collab announced, new games for whatever's gonna come out that year. Just everything Pokemon related usually gets announced on Pokemon Day in February. And they usually start the celebration for it on like February 14th, 13th. I was gonna have the video recorded a little bit like later, like in February, just in case if we got any leaks and rumors, but I kind of wanted to get ahead of those so that way I'm not like, you know, being influenced by what they're gonna probably get leaked and what they're gonna end up showing. So I'm gonna start off with the realistic predictions. Well, actually let's do the filler shit first with the realistic predictions, and then we could kind of go into what I want, like the fun stuff, like the stuff that probably won't happen but would be really cool if they did do it. But yeah, let's start with Pokemon Unite. I think that's definitely going to be something that's going to be shown at Pokemon Day. Ever since Pokemon Unite has gotten released, they usually always show something interesting. And actually with Pokemon Unite in mind, they did put out, I think in November or December, they announced that they're going to put the band picks for Pokemon Unite in February. And they're going to do a lot of the upgrades for Pokemon Unite in February for the English version. For the people that aren't aware or people that don't play Pokemon Unite, as of right now, it's about to hit its 2-year anniversary, and they just released the game, or a beta for the game in China. So the beta for the game in China seems to have like a lot more bells and whistles. Like they have an open world lobby. I don't even know if I can show this, but they have an open world lobby and stuff. Like you can walk around and do things and see people and shit, which is kind of cool, low key. For me, it sounds really cool that they were doing all that for Pokemon Unite, but they only had it in China. So I was like, okay, we don't know if we're gonna have it in the global version or if the Chinese release was gonna end up, you know, just being its own separate thing. But it looks like they're starting to slowly bring whatever the Chinese release has over to the international one, you know. So hopefully here's praying that we get some of the cool stuff in Pokemon Unite. I haven't played it in a minate. You know, I do like to play the game every once in a while. Like every blue moon, I hop on whatever rank season they have, whatever Pokemon they drop. They recently dropped Gyarados and Metagross recently. So I'm assuming we're going to get like another legendary Pokemon get announced, maybe. I'm going to assume like Victini or some shit. Or maybe even somebody from Scarlet and Violet I could see them putting in. I think maybe Miraidon, something like that. Other than that, though, we're probably gonna get a cafe remix thing with like some Pokemon events going on with like wearing costumes or whatever. I don't know what the anniversary date is for cafe remix. I think it got released in like September or August, but it's probably gonna get like their like some sort of update, like big gameplay update. Pokemon Go, recently they're putting in like Hisuian Pokemon in. A lot of Hisui stuff is going on in Pokemon Go right now. They just had a Rowlet Community Day. I believe they had some raid battles with a couple Hisuian Pokemon like Samurott and Typhlosion, I think. I don't think Decidueye got his yet, unless I'm wrong and I missed it, but I mean, they're gonna end up coming back eventually, right? Yeah. But we were probably, yeah, a lot more Pokemon Go news. If I'm correct, I think they skipped Gen 8. I don't remember getting Grookey at all, so I'm kind of confused by that, but I think they skipped a lot of Generation 8 because they don't have a lot of Gen 8 Pokemon in there besides like Wooloo and shit. They definitely have things that they could go back on if they want to announce some stuff at Pokemon Day 2024, like whatever the direct is, right? After that, I am predicting that we're gonna get a Pokemon Masters update. I don't know if they're gonna do like a special character for it. I mean, the anniversary is also in September, so I don't think they're gonna do anything crazy, but if they really wanted to, they could probably put in like, you know, like whatever character that they were working on and just announce that as something. It's probably not gonna be anything super crazy. Pokemon Sleep seems to be like what another thing that they're working on. I don't think they're like, I haven't really caught up on the Pokemon Sleep shenanigans. I think what they're doing right now is kind of interesting with the game. It's like a gacha game kind of, but for sleep. Not really gacha because, you know, you're not really summoning, but it feels like, you know, a lot of microtransactions for a sleeping app. But I think they're gonna probably have like another update. They said that they have events for when you sleep. I'm just like, how do you put events in the game? I don't know. I'm not really super into the sleep thing, but you know, it was cool when it happened. After that, I think we're gonna get probably a new Pokemon animated series. The Pokemon Concierge, or whatever the Netflix show is called. It turns out to be really good. I still have yet to see it, but it turns out that it's really, really, really good. And I'm hearing from a lot of people that I should watch it, but I'm just waiting right now. I'm waiting for the hype to die down a little bit for the series, and then I'm gonna probably go ahead and watch it eventually. But it looks really good. They might announce a season 2 here. They might have a brand new animated series. That's what I'm speculating. Not like a Pokemon Journeys or whatever series. I mean more like a series where it's like 8 episodes. You know, like how Pokemon Generations did theirs. But that's what I'm kind of predicting. The next thing, which is the last of like the filler stuff kind of, is the Hatsune Miku collab that they had with Pokemon. The last year, in I believe it was October/September, they had a lot of Pokemon and Hatsune Miku collabs. Like, okay, what if Hatsune Miku was a grass type trainer? Or what if Hatsune Miku was a fire type trainer? They had a bunch of those designs and they look fucking fantastic, bro. Like they popped off making those designs. I liked like theorizing, okay, what's the Hatsune Miku design gonna be for this week? Or what type is it gonna be? Who's she gonna have as her Pokemon? That was cool. It was really, really cool to actually like have that go on. And I think they've also been releasing songs alongside those designs too. Not alongside, but like after. They were dropping like a song a week, I believe. And I remember I timed it out because they said it was gonna be like 18 songs. So 1 song a week. So that was 18 weeks. And then it ended up ending directly in February. So I'm speculating that we're probably gonna see the final song right before Pokemon Day gets announced, and then they're gonna drop an entire album for it on Spotify, and then they might just have like an actual physical album release. That's what I'm predicting, at least for the Hatsune Miku collab with Pokemon. I haven't listened to all the songs. I kind of want to listen to all of them at once, and that way I could like give a good ranking of them. That'd be a cool video, low-key, having a Hatsune Miku ranking for all the songs that they did. Because I did hear the first three. The first 3 were pretty okay. You know, a lot of them love to use the fucking Pokemon Center theme. But I do want to see what the rest of them sound like. Now we can get into the realistic predictions for the mainline games. I feel like the mainline games are the ones that people are going to be like, okay, this is like the big shit that we're going to get, right? Personally, I'm thinking like realistically here, a lot of people are thinking that we're going to get Pokemon Black and White remakes. And I am part of the minority. I don't know if I'm the minority actually, but I don't think we're gonna actually get Black and White remakes. I think that's kind of too soon. We got Diamond and Pearl remakes like probably 3 years ago. Usually, like if you look at my last video where I talked about the Pokemon formula needing to change, we talked about how usually the remakes are like 6 years in between, and they're usually on even number generations. Not even numbers, like Gen 1 remakes were made when Gen 3 was made, and then the Gen 2 remakes were made for Gen 4, but after that, you know, Oraz was dropped in Gen 6, and then Diamond and Pearl was dropped in Gen 8. I feel like Generation 10 makes a lot more sense for a Black and White remake. But what I do think is possible is if they do a Black 3, White 3. A sequel, or like, you know, like the ending to like the trilogy of Unova would make the most sense. And I get it, because at the Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Indigo Disc, they actually do end up showing a lot of Unova like things, right? Like they show like a lot of Unovan characters, people that we didn't know had kids, have kids and shit, which is why I think that we're gonna end up getting a sequel, mainly like a 3rd version, like a trilogy, because I feel like so much time has passed from Pokemon. Like we've seen it, like genuinely seen time pass from Pokemon. When we look at Gold and Silver, it's a couple years after the Red and Green, right? And then we go into Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, we see some older characters kind of. Wait, do we? Let me think. Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah, so I mean, yeah. So we do have some other characters showing up. Generation 5, Cynthia shows up again. You know, there's, and then also in Generation 5, we get Black 2, White 2, which is literally 2 years after the original Black and White. Also, Sun and Moon, I completely forgot. Sun and Moon literally has Red and Blue in their 20s, maybe even 30s. I don't even know how old they are. I don't know if there's like an actual confirmed age for them, but they're literally adults in the current timeline. And I feel like since we haven't seen anybody in Generation 8 at all, like we haven't seen any like physical form of anybody else from the past Pokemon games. And I think there's a reason for that, and I think it's because they want to have characters reintroduced with new designs, which I think it would still be cool if they kind of, you know, hinted at what they look like. But like Drayton in Scarlet and Violet in the Indigo Disc DLC is the grandson of Drayton. And I guess technically you could say like Iris is the granddaughter of Drayden, but from what I remember, she's adopted and she was like taken in, you know, so who knows how old Iris is, and this might be his real grandson, you know. So honestly, there's a lot of shit going on. And then with Clay's daughter being there, I forgot her name already, but Clay's daughter being in the actual game, literally name dropped in the epilogue for the game, it's very, very clear that they want to go back to Unova. And I feel like with them going back to Unova, they could have a lot, and I mean a lot of fun shit going on. And I think doing a remake doesn't really make sense because you would have to have Black and White and then Black and White 2, because you can't just remake Black and White and then not remake Black and White 2. I mean, I guess they could just do it a year later, be like, okay, here's Black and White, and then here's Black and White 2 remakes right after. But I feel like it would make more sense to do Black and White 3 and then have a Black and White 2 remake bundle after Generation 10 comes out. That's what my personal, like, kind of crazy, I say it's realistic, but it's not really that realistic, but you know, I think they could definitely do that. The next realistic prediction that I have is for them to continue on with Pokemon Legends Arceus, but not necessarily have it be an Arceus game, just have it be another Legends game, you know? It feels like Pokemon Legends is like the subtitle, and then whatever the Legendary is gonna kind of like swap in. So I feel like if we do get a Unova-based game again, you know, they could do a Legends Kyurem and show the original dragon and show what the original dragon looked like. They could even have a Legend Celebi. Since Celebi has a lot to do with time travel as well, I feel like it would make sense for them to incorporate Celebi into a game. And then also, since a lot of Johto stuff was also brought into Legends Arceus, it just feel like the connections are just there. I don't know what they could possibly do in Johto, but I mean, shit, have Johto and Kanto connect, make that its own game. I love the original Legends Arceus game. I think that if they worked on some of the mechanics and made it online, you know, play with your friends and just like do a couple more things, you know, like just add on to it, it could be a really, really fun, like, Pokemon, not necessarily side game, because it's still a mainline game because we still get new Pokemon from the game, but it'd be another cool alternative to Pokemon that I would enjoy seeing. And I just want them to not give up on the idea, especially how well Legends Arceus did on the Switch alone. You know, I feel like they should just keep working with the formula. Another realistic prediction that I have is Pokemon Let's Go being its own thing, like getting another game. I think Pokemon Let's Go getting another game kind of makes a lot of sense looking at the timeline of everything. I think Generation 10 might be a little bit, well, we'll get into Generation 10. I think that it's probably too soon to get another generation right now, so they might want to put in another filler one. And I think, like I said, either Let's Go or Legends. I think Let's Go would probably have to go into Johto right after Kanto, though. This gives people a 3D Johto, which we wouldn't have had yet, and it allows people that have never played the original Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, like me, to be able to play this one. Last thing that I think is realistic still, even though I don't necessarily want it, is Generation 10. We just got Generation 9, like, not even 3 years ago, right? It hasn't even been 3 years yet, but it would make sense if they were to announce Generation 10 now. They could easily, like, they've been changing their formula for a little bit, you know, like they added DLC instead of getting a third version. They gave their games to other companies to work on, well, specifically Diamond and Pearl. And it seems like they're doing a lot of things that people have wanted them to do, you know, like, you know, watch my video, you know, like watch the other video. Like, they talk about that a lot. So I think if they really wanted to, they could, you know, put in these fillers. But if they are going back to their old ways, then a Generation 10 announcement kind of makes sense. I feel like Generation 10 is definitely like the next logical step, mainly because I don't see us getting Generation 5 remakes before we get Generation 10. That's really the only reason why I think Gen 10 is coming out or getting announced. But I don't want that to be the case. I'd rather us just get other things, but you know, that's pretty much where my thought process is. Now, we got the realistic predictions out of the way. Let's talk about what my actual hopes and wants are. So, for me personally, I love the side games more than the actual mainline games for a lot of the times. I love mainline Pokemon, obviously, but sometimes it does get a little bit repetitive. It can get a little bit tiresome sometimes. Like, it's fun. It is fun, but I do I feel like the gameplay loop does tire itself out after a while. Which is why Legends Arceus was so much fun for me. Even after I beat the game, I was fucking shiny hunting and getting other stuff done. Not saying that mainline Pokemon's bad, I just do think that the formula does need to change. What my hopes and wants are, I do want an Explorers of Sky remake. They did the Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team remake for Rescue Team DX. I didn't play that game yet because I know that they kind of changed some of the things, not for the better, kind of for the worse. in my opinion. Just because of the amount of people that you can bring in your party. They instead of making it 2, or instead of making it 4, they made it 3. So it kind of it turned me off a little bit, but the game does look fun. I'll probably play it at one point, but as of right now, I would love an Explorers of Sky remake. That's like my favorite side Pokemon game, like honestly ever. Like I love Explorers of Sky. I know some people kind of are turned off by the dungeon crawler aspect, like the mystery dungeon gameplay. It's not for everybody. It definitely isn't. It's definitely repetitive, but the music's fire, so you can't get mad about that. I do think that remake for Explorers of Sky makes sense. I don't know what Spike Chunsoft is working on right now. I don't know if they actually are doing anything crazy. Probably not. So as of right now, I think that we're gonna probably get either a new mystery dungeon game or an Explorers of Sky remake. Another game that I think could use a sequel / reboot, I can see Pokemon Conquest coming back. I would love to have a Conquest come back. I know Koei Tecmo probably is doing something else right now. I don't know what they're doing, honestly. They gotta be making something right now, right? Anyways, they could probably do Pokemon Conquest 2 / reboot. I'm saying / reboot mainly because the way that Pokemon Conquest works, like story-wise, is that there was 18 regions or 18 countries in one region. Those are based off of all the original types. That's before Fairy type was introduced. So for me, if we get a reboot, I feel like it makes sense to just kind of like have the Fairy Island, or like either an island in, or they like just have like another place like smushed in there, you know, to make that the reboot, so they could just reboot the entire franchise and just make it on the Switch again. Whereas if they make a Pokemon Conquest 2, they kind of have to continue from, you know, what the end of Pokemon Conquest was, and they would have to find a way to put fairy types in the game, and they'd probably have to make like an island thing. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen like that. I feel like a reboot makes more sense, at least to me. And they could do the same character designs, but give like a couple more, you know, a couple more characters for their own independent regions. I think the only issue that I would have personally is online aspect. I feel like they would have to do online. If they don't do online, they're kind of selling. Okay, so enough about Conquest though. Poké Park 3 is my next one. I feel like they have so many other games that came out. We got Detective Pikachu Returns. We had Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Masters. We have gacha games. When is our Pokemon action game coming back, bro? Either we get a Pokemon action game, like a new Pokemon action game, or we're getting a Poké Park 3. I feel like Poké Park 3 makes a lot of sense. It's a pipe dream, but I feel like they could definitely do something like that. After that, I feel like I might be in the minority once again. I want Pokken 2. Pokken was fun, all right? Y'all can say whatever you want. Pokken was a cool, you know, unique little experience. And Bandai Namco even said, hey, we're ready to do it whenever they are. If y'all want to make a Pokken 2, we'll be here to make Pokken 2. They're just waiting on Nintendo or Game Freak, Pokemon Company, my bad, to pull the trigger. But as of right now, it's looking like that's probably not gonna happen. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That like Pokemon Day is coming up very soon. I believe it's the 27th. We're gonna get a lot of crazy things. But yeah, that's it. Before I do go though, I wanted to say this at the end of the video, so any of the people that watched from the last video that are still watching now, thank you so fucking much. I appreciate everybody's comments on the last video. I appreciate everybody's views on the last video. Like, we got 10,000. I was not expecting to hit the algorithm. I wasn't expecting for everybody to even click on the video at all. Like, the rate that it was rising up at was like literally astounding to me. I just didn't expect any of that. And all the people that said that, you know, they liked the video or that pressed the like button, bro, like, thank you so fucking much, bro. I can't like, like I was honestly like close to like, not necessarily giving up on the channel, but I was like on the side where I was like, you know, people aren't really watching the live streams, which is fine. I get it. Not everybody wants to watch a live stream. You know, not everybody has the time to watch it. But I really, really appreciate everything that you guys have done. You know, even if you're not coming back, even if you're only one of the like 100 people that subscribed, thank you for subscribing. That much is enough for me. That ass. Like, you guys could just subscribe, and that made me happy. The people that left so many positive messages, thank you so much. I am thinking about y'all still to this day. I thank you, bro. If I could give out steak dinners, I would, but I can't. Once again, you know, I know people usually, this is when people usually bring up like, hey, 90% of you guys aren't subscribed. I don't really care too much. If you like Pokemon, go ahead and subscribe. If you like video games, anime, etc., go ahead and subscribe. That's literally all that I'm going to be talking about. Those are my interests, so I'm going to talk about other things. It's not going to be just Pokemon. It's gonna be other things, you know. So you don't have to worry about it being like just. I know I have 2 Pokemon videos out, but there is a fighting game video for Game of the Year thing that I had in December. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and do that too. Honestly, I can't ask for more. Like, you guys already did so much, and I can't ask for any more. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.